Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, May 24th edition of the SIG ContribEx sub-project comms team meeting. A reminder that we do operate under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. Here at the beginning of the call, we like to offer an opportunity for folks to introduce themselves. There's not many folks on the call today, but we'll do it anyway. Totally optional as a reminder. So we don't call on folks, just let folks introduce themselves if they would like to. I'll start off. I'm Caslin Fields. I'm a co-lead of this sub-project and a co-chair of SIG ContribEx, which is the parent group of this group. Our mission here at the Contributor Comms team is to help make sure that the contributor community is informed about what's going on and is able to communicate with each other to some degree, and that we are communicating externally about the awesome work that contributors are doing. My pronouns are she, her. Would anyone else like to go?
I can go next. Hi, I'm Mario. I am part of SIG Infra and I'm the tech lead of SIG ContribEx Comms. My pronouns are he, him. I work for Kubernetes and yeah, that's it.
Would anyone else like to go?
Okay, I can go. I'm Sandeep and I'm working with Jen on Northern LifeLock as a lead software engineer. I'm a part of the CNCF Dev and Hard of Hearing working group. I'm a person with hearing impairment and I rely entirely on captions and lip reading. And I'm also a part of this wonderful group that meets every Friday. So thank you.
Glad to have you here. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves?
I'm Sylvester Carolan. I'm a newbie here. I think fourth meeting. I'm also part of the Kubernetes Minikube contributor team. So yeah, just here to kind of get involved, get more engaged, and yeah, find a bit more out. Happy to help. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome. Thank you. Anyone else?
I could go next. Hello, everyone. My name is Arvind. I am a student and developer from India. I am a recent contributor to the ContribEx team and happy to help out and learn more stuff. So thank you. And my pronouns are he/him.
Welcome, everyone. I think we got at least a few more people on the call. We are doing introductions right now. If anyone else would like to go, you are welcome to do so now. Alrighty then. We will move right along. And normally I would ask for any volunteers for note taker at this stage, but Mario has already volunteered. So thank you very much, Mario, for taking notes today. With that, I think we will dive into our agenda. I put the link to the notes doc in the chat. I'm going to put it in again. All right, and we will dive into the agenda. I guess for new items, I'll start off with the one that I was telling folks about before we started recording. So the 10-year anniversary of Kubernetes is coming up on June 6th, which is super exciting. And so Mario made the suggestion that maybe we should put the birthday of Kubernetes on the account so that it'll get the birthday like stuff that Twitter does. It'll like put balloons on the account and stuff for June 6th, which would be awesome. However, when I went to do that, I foolishly also put in the year, which was 2014. And being 10 years old, Kubernetes is under the minimum age requirement for Twitter, and now the account is locked. So I appreciate those laughing with me. Prefer to laugh at mistakes than cry about them.
This is the best. This is the best fun fact we can have.
I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, we should put it into the 10-year anniversary blog post. How we locked
yeah,
ourselves out of Twitter.
it will be a story. I think once we get the account back, certainly we will post about what happened. So what I've done so far, I did this just a few minutes before the meeting. And so I tried to get to the form that Twitter points you to for if you think your account has been locked out incorrectly. And at first it wouldn't let me into the form. I think because it hadn't propagated in the system that the account was locked yet. So it is now propagated across the system that the account is locked, and it let me into the form. So I submitted the form, which required that well, anyway. And so it sent an email to the email address on the account, which is a CNCF owned email that I do not have access to. We should probably change that. Things that we learn. And so I have sent an email to the CNCF folks who helped us get a hold of the account to ask them for their help getting to the email that was sent about trying to get the account back from being locked out.
So one question. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. One
Oh, good.
question. So until the account is locked, I mean, all the tweets are deleted or they won't appear.
I think I haven't checked from a different account yet, but I think it will just appear as locked for anyone who goes to the page. So it
Oh,
won't show.
it's not existing anymore. It's saying that this account doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. All right. But I think if we get it back, all of the data is still there and it will just magically appear again.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So, well, we'll see what we can do there. One thing that might complicate this issue is that Monday is a US holiday. So a lot of folks who work in the US are off either today or, through Monday at least.
And
a lot
Twitter
of the folks
folks
at
are
the
off.
CNCF, a lot of folks at Twitter, and a lot of folks at the CNCF will be off. So that might complicate things and delay us getting the account back. But I will keep an eye on that and try to bother people as much as I can after this meeting.
I feel so bad.
I'm sorry, Mario. It's not your fault. I thought about it as I was doing it, but I did not think to actually go and check the restrictions before trying it, which would have made more sense.
Anybody
But
could have made that mistake, though.
yeah,
It's not you.
it was for good reasons. The
totally.
intent was good. We'll learn from this one that we need to have an email account on there that we have access to. That's something that we can fix. And not to put birthdays on company accounts. I learned something today.
It's okay. No
That's
worries.
going to make a really good blog article. So that's
Our community loves failure stories, right? So appreciate you all being here to
Yeah,
help support.
so Kathleen, one thing, I think no one will be able to see any tweet from that account, right?
Correct. Until we get it back. So
But I
yeah.
guess that's the flip side of the 3 holidays. I mean, we can just hope that people would spend more time with their family instead of checking the Kubernetes IO account. But
This
yeah,
is true.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. It could take a while. Hopefully we'll get it back before the birthday at least. Any other questions or comments on that? All right. We'll do our best. Beyond that, another matter that I want to bring up. So, well, don't talk about it now. Yeah. So Chris is going to be out for a bit soon. He mentioned that after the call last time, he's starting to set things up for that. And one thing we were discussing there is, especially with the new account and needing more help with running that, granted, we would like to have some additional help there. So we asked Mario if he would be willing to step up into a shadow role for the subproject lead position. One of the requirements of subproject lead for our group is that you have been a lead of a different type within the group before becoming subproject lead. So Mario is currently tech lead, and we asked him if he would be willing to become a shadow. And Mario, would you like to give your response? Yay!
Yeah, as I already said, I would gladly be a shadow, also to help you around while Chris takes his well-deserved break after 8 years or
Yeah.
something like this. Um, so yeah, I'm up for this and happy to join.
Yay. And Chris will be coming back. This is not a permanent thing or anything. So we may have 3 sub-project leads after this, and that would be perfectly fine. So we'll be working on that. Thank you, Mario, for being willing to give it a shot. Any questions or comments about Mario becoming shadow for lead for this sub-project? Alrighty. Are there any other new items that folks want to discuss today?
I don't know if we want to discuss this here. I mean, there was last week or the week before, I think the week before was a discussion about the drafting of the policies for the Kubernetes IO Twitter account. And yeah, I added some I added some points to it. I don't know if we want to discuss this in any given point, but one of the suggestions that I basically made was that the person that can approve tweets is either one of the sub project leads, or we have the role of the social media lead, which is currently Kathleen, as far as I know. So I guess this would be like an option that if people are interested to go and become a shadow for the social media lead, so that we can eventually step up people there, and then they also can get approval rights for the Kubernetes IO account.
I technically have Arpit as a shadow for social media lead right now.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, all good. I mean, I could have more shadows, and also there's certainly more that I could do to help with that. Like Federico has created, Federico has created this whole blogging lead shadow process and like doc. I don't have anything like that for a social media lead, just the information that's in the role handbook. So definitely taking some notes from Federico there, and I should do more to make that accessible. A good point, though. So approvers for Kubernetes IO tweets will be subproject lead or social lead. I like that idea.
Yeah, and the other topics that I basically put in were more like general things, like what channels do we have that the comms team decides which channels we do play out what messages, because we obviously can better decide on those topics based on the target group. I wrote a target group definition of end users, and I think that the main important thing is that we don't repost stuff from random users, because it's basically pointing a laser pointer at someone with over. We have the same amount of followers as the Xbox account, I think, or something like this. So this could be too much attention for a single person.
typing out a message to someone at the CNCF, and I will be right back.
Yeah, that's fine. Another topic to give an update or a follow-up on the things that happened last week with the blog post. The Gen AI generated blog post have now been taken down, as you might seen the pull request. This was in communication together with the one that contributed it. There's still communication going on. And there's a discussion regarding policies of the usage of Gen AI happening in ContribEx and with SIG docs together, because they basically have the same problems and issues, and there's a draft currently worked on for the usage of Gen AI tools in Kubernetes IO block and Kubernetes contributor block.
I am back focusing on this now. And so you're talking about the work going on with SIG docs to create policy around AI blogs. Yeah, that's a tough issue.
Any questions to either of those topics?
About either the Kubernetes IO account policies or Gen AI and blogs. Okay. Alrighty then. So any other comment in the chat? Let me read that real quick. Just agreeing that we do need to have some policy on that and how we work with it, what the acceptable criteria are. Yep. That is what we are trying to figure out. And it's very tough though it's very difficult to detect something that's AI generated.
Yeah, and to give also a little bit of context, additionally to this, the main problem that we have with Gen AI generated content is that this might violate, in 2 to 3 years, we might find out that we have a violation against copyrighted content. And then we need to figure out which blog posts had Gen AI stuff in it and which not. And yeah, this might be a problem. Yes, there are tools, and we are actually also looking into tools. Chris did some great research in this, but most of the tools, or some of the tools, are paid, and we are still trying to figure out how we can implement this. And I think it still will be also a manual process, and we just need to require the author to state like, yeah, I used the tool, because it's not forbidden. So the policy is not aiming to outrule the usage of Gen AI tools for those blog posts, but we just want to have it like visible and in a certain way. So that's, or not we want to, but this is the current consensus where the policy draft is going into this direction.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you add an attestation or something to the blog post? So someone is attesting to, they click a checkbox or something to attest. So they self-attest doing it, not using AI.
It's still like,
I mean,
trusting them to do it, but it's something. I think that's an interesting idea.
So, for example, Sandeep, relating to your question is, so I repeat the question because I think the chat is not on the recording. What is our main use case or purpose for going with Gen AI generated blogs? What are we trying to achieve here? We are talking about Gen AI tools. Gen AI tools are, for example, also, and I think this was the case with the blog post, using a tool that helping with language and rephrasing it for a non-English speaker, so that the blog post gets more cleaner and more readable. And then it was basically flagged as 100% generated. And this is a valid usage of AI, I would say. But we say that we still need to flag it, and this is what Sylvester basically also said. We also need to have, like, first is we want to trust the people that have a checkbox that we use the GenAI tool, but we also need to double check this, of course, and this needs to be part of the review process in some way or another. Because the official CNCF policy is usage of GenAI tools is allowed under not discriminating and stuff like this, but general usage is allowed.
But then we need to ask ourselves why we're not allowing it, right? And if we're not allowing it for legal reasons in the future, which is what this sounds like.
It's legal reasons, and also it's like usually Kubernetes blogs are things that are about technology that is not yet inside of an LLM. So there could be made up facts by the AI that need to be double checked, and it could be not accurate, right? So there are multiple parts in the usage of GenAI tools that might affect the authenticity of a blog or just spread false data.
Right. So it's more than just a legal piece. It's, you know,
it's multiple points.
Accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things that well, not directly applicable to the example that you're likely addressing, but in a more general way, one of concerns that could also exist with this is a bit contributing to the dead internet idea of becoming a place where most people just submit generated content, right? And I mean, the value added of creating such content and broadcasting it could be debatable in several ways. Obviously, this is not a problem when we talk about things like interviews, which constitutes a part of our output. But for the rest, I guess it's also something to bear in mind, because it would essentially mean being a mechanism of secondhand reproduction of something that people could eventually just generate using a question to a specific AI engine. Again, this is a general idea, not something that applies to the case at hand, to the best of my knowledge.
Indeed. Any other questions or comments about how we're managing AI contributions to blog posts?
Yeah, I don't want to open a Pandora's box, but what's happening with AI contributions to code?
Like in general?
Yeah, I mean, in general.
I think this have not been discussed yet, but the general AI policy of the CNCF applies to the project in the first and foremost case, which basically says that usage is allowed. I mean, a lot of people already use tools like Copilot and stuff like this, which basically is the usage of AI. But this is a discussion I would more put towards steering and the SIG leads. So same thing, but different discussion. So we are more focused on what affects us immediately, and what affects us immediately is basically the blogs and potentially also social media and LWKD and stuff like this.
Thanks.
Well answered. Thank you, Mario. Cool. Any other questions, comments about this? We're already a little over halfway through our meeting time.
No. Well, small comments. I find this discussion fascinating because it remembers me. There was a well-known work by Walter Benjamin, the German philosopher, called the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction, which addressed the problem of industrialization in art. I guess that we are, in a way, discussing the work of arts in the age of Gen AI with our own in our own small way, which I think is very interesting.
Sounds interesting and relevant.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. I will say that I want to read that book, but I realistically never will. But I'm glad that I know about it now. Cool. So there will be ongoing discussions about that. There was a discussion in the Wednesday call that we need to make this conversation more public. Start having the conversation about what the policies are going to be in public forums so that people can see and participate in those. So there should be some things going on publicly soon. We'll try to keep the group informed.
Yeah, I will basically, I mean, I published the policy, I think, on the first draft of the policy on Wednesday, and Ray and Chris made some comments into it, and I basically just will re-ask the people if we just move it into a public discussion. Anyway, but probably ContribEx, or is the best point.
Okie dokie. So any other new items before I move on to updates and big wins? Sounds like no. Are there any updates and big wins that folks want to call out? New blogs being published, things like that? Nothing in particular comes to mind, then we'll move on to the board and we might find some there. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't think I have anything there. If I do, it is very.
Did Bob create the draft document for the 10-year anniversary blog post?
So I'm hoping to work on that today. I haven't seen any movement on a draft yet, but I was gonna try and create a draft today, but we'll see if I get to that now. But yeah,
I actually started something, but it's very preliminary, so go ahead. It's what I can say.
Sounds good. Thank you, Federico. Yeah, I don't see any updates on that here. There might be a different thread that I need to find. I'll go in search of that later. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get some work done on that this week. And let's move into the board. I'm grabbing the link to the board, throwing that in the chat so folks can follow along since I'm not sharing my screen today. I can share my screen, by the way, if folks like that. Always open to feedback on that. Let's start off in the ready for review column. The first item there, oh yes, is the SIG node spotlight. Updates there from Arpit and or Frederico. Oh, Arpit dropped off, it looks like. So.
I can say something then. So we rescheduled the publishing date for next week. because there were pending comments.
Okay.
Also, there was an issue with Easy CLA somewhere down the line. And I think I signed a new CLA twice per day in the last week. For some reason, it's not getting updated. But yeah, I think that's done now, and all the reviews are now in. We also opened the website PR, so it's should be close to be merged and published next week.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Fine.
And also, I want to point out that the link to the SIG node pull request is in our Slack channel, SIG ContribEx comms. So if anyone would like to review that blog post, please do. I saw that and was going to, and then got distracted by other things. So the usual story. But if you have time or would like to review it, we would really appreciate it. Looking forward to getting that published. And we'll move on to the next item. The shadowing guide for blogging. Is that still in review status? Is that where that is?
I mean, I guess if it's the PR is still open, it should still be
Which it is.
in review. But content-wise, I haven't touched it because it's done in its current form. From my perspective, it already includes a couple of comments and feedback, but it's just waiting for adequate LGTMs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because this goes into the community repository.
Yeah, I need to do that. I've had it on my to-do list for the last 2 weeks and I haven't done it. If you feel like you want to push it along, please do ping me because
I will. But
things
I honestly I don't think this is super critical to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to get it out of the way just to avoid it being a topic. But otherwise, the people that will benefit from it are the ones that are easily directed to the to the current text in the fork or in the PR. So we're not actually losing anything. But yeah.
Makes sense. Sounds good. And then the last thing in the ready for review column looks like it's merged is the add hydrophone announcement thing.
Oh, so if it's merged, I guess we should be able to move it into
Done.
done. There was a pending question though around the desirability or lack thereof of having that also published on the website. I haven't followed that topic very closely. I was off during the week, but I remember Tim mentioning and questioning this. I had already raised this topic before, but I'm not sure on what was the consensus on it. I'll have a look. But that would be a separate PR anyway.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So did this end up going out on Kubernetes.io or Kates.dev?
The PR that you have there, I think it's Kates.dev. Yes, it's contributor side.
Yep.
Because that's where we always initially open it up. Website is typically for us, it's in addition to.
Yep. And I see that Tim had asked if we were going to publish it on the regular blog. And he said, assuming we're not. And nobody said anything else. So seems like that's done.
I think that echoes my question 1 week before when I opened the PR. And I also didn't get at least I didn't get a yes, let's publish this on the website. So I'm assuming that it's fine as is.
Sounds reasonable. So I'm going to go ahead and move that item over to the done column. Thank you very much for your work on that. I'm excited that we were able to do that. It's a nice
Thank you all.
thing in the community. All right, so let's move into the in progress column. The first item here is add a SIG architecture spotlight article.
That's still no update from last week. So I'm missing the one enhancements article. Got some live back into it like 3 weeks ago, but since then it's flatlined again. So I'll continue to insist. That's essentially it.
Continue beating that drum. This is a
Yeah.
long-term project. Appreciate you driving it forward. Yeah. All right, and the next one is the API machinery spotlight article. Also you, Frederico.
Yep, and this I don't have the sorry, because I'm getting at the car, so I don't have the details. But this was already one that we did with a shadowing kind of approach. So yep. I'm not sure if it was Arpit or Iwal or
Arvind.
Who was Arvind? Yeah. So I've had, whoever it was, I've had him as a co-author in the commit. So it did the conversion to Markdown. And I've opened the initial PR. It's already there.
Okay.
It's still work in progress because there are still areas there which I identify as needing improvement. I need to add some more links to some of the expressions and references that we have. But that said, I prefer to have it open there and deal with it during the weekend and then remove the work in progress flag. Anyway, it's already there for anyone that wants to start to have a look into the content. The publication date is, I think it's like 2 weeks from now. I mean, it's tentative, but it's something like that.
You said there's a PR created, or soon?
Yeah, for API machinery, there's a PR created.
It's not attached to the issue.
No.
It's not in the board.
No, well, wait. No, it isn't. You're absolutely right. I'll update the description to add the fixes, issue number, whatever, so that it can automatically link there.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you a DM to remind you?
Sure.
That's what I would need.
Yeah. You can also, if you want, if you can just add, it should automatically appear as the first one to add to the board if you select the contributor side repository. Because it was the last one added, so.
Let's see here. Contributor site. Yep, there it is. All right, I've got it. So I'll add it to the board, Perfect. But I think it still needs to be attached to the issue. I mean, that's minor. You can or can't.
It's better because then it closes the issue automatically when it's met.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Make that note for thyself. Attach API machinery issue to PR. I sent you a DM so that you have that note for later.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for helping make sure that that gets done. And thank you for including Arvind on reviewing that and getting this pushed forward. Thank you, Arvind, for contributing.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And then the next one is SIG etcd. You're not done yet, Frederico.
No, I need to remind. SIG, it's CD. We have the questions, we've sent the questions, we're waiting for answers.
And it looks like the last update on the issue was that it sounded like he pronounced his name Sundip is helping with the SIG etcd.
I've shared the I shared with, I think this is what I've shared last week. We were waiting, yeah, but we are okay. And now we've sent to the SIG etcd share that's coordinating it.
So he's not here right now, but thank you, send it.
Yeah, indeed.
The next item is SIG security, which was Sriram had taken that one on. He hasn't been able to
Yeah.
be in for a bit. He confirmed that it can be reassigned. Rujval, it looks like, was interested in taking this on.
Yeah,
Rujval is not on.
Yeah, I've so I updated that information. That's exactly right. I've shared the initial set of questions with Ayushval as well, and we've sent the questions to the two SIG security shares that were identified, saying that, well, we're coming back to this with I mean, some new people here, but the idea is the same, and asking them to reaffirm their interest in it, and if so, to pick up the questions and start working on them. I sent that to Ian and I can't remember whom else. But yeah, that's the status. We've shared list of questions with the SIG contacts, and we're waiting for feedback on their on out one feasibility of it from their perspective, and two, if they are up to it, answers. But this was like this week, so still plenty of time.
Sounds good. I don't think Arujval is a org member, so I can't add him to an as an assignee to that. So
And that's one of the problems that I've also found.
Yeah.
I tend to mention them by name or something, but you can't use the board for that.
Yeah, which I think is kind of nice because it always reminds me that, oh yeah, this person is doing active work and they need org membership.
Yeah. Well,
And he's
what
already
I'm
done
trying
one SIG spotlight.
Yeah. So yeah,
Um,
I mean, what I'm trying to do is to reflect in commits the work that people do as well.
Yeah.
Because, for example, doing reviews, I'm not absolutely sure if, I mean, it can count, but the way they are done by non, I know, well, I don't think that non-members can even review things in the PR, if I'm not mistaken. So
they can, but it doesn't count. So
Yeah.
they can't put any approve /approve for LGTM
Yeah,
is ignored.
Yeah, exactly. And even if they say something is not that kind that you can just accept and it gets their name added to the commits. What I'm doing is that in the initial commits in the PRs, I'm adding the authored by the people that have worked in the article in one way or the other. And hopefully this reflects more clearly the work that specifically shadows are doing, and maybe and obviously help them work towards org membership.
Wonderful. Arujval should be ready to go for org membership very soon, if not now. So we can probably get that going very soon. All right. Next item is SIG scheduling, which is Arvind.
Yes, I had to ping them last week about the status of the article since there were just 3 questions left or something. But yeah, before I could do that, I mean, I received a message from them saying that they were currently in the process of leaving their current company and joining a new one. So between all the hassle, they couldn't really take out the time to fill out those questions, but they said they would get back to it very soon. I mean, after they join the current company, which I think is this month, middle of this month. So yeah, I think we will hear from them very soon.
All right. Understandable. Thank you for keeping an eye on that. And thanks to them for letting us know. So we'll keep checking in on that and hopefully they will be able to answer those questions soon. Sometimes that's how it goes. Thank you for bearing with it. All right, I'm adding that note to the item in the board. That's updated. Thank you very much. The next item is help wanted posts. Gosh dang it. I keep failing at this, don't I, Sundapun? You even pinged me last time. I didn't get this done. Help wanted posts. That's just, it continues to be something that we need to work on in Slack. The more you ping me, the more likely I am to remember it. We may need to find some additional help there. I might try to find someone even outside of the comms group who is familiar with all of that, who can help us, since I'm having a lot of trouble with that. But please ping me again on Slack, and let's try to get that conversation going over there again. Any questions, comments about the help wanted posts? Should I go over the whole context again, or are folks good to move on? Okay. If you do want a review of that, if you want to try to help, let me know. We'll do it on Slack. The next item is some Zapier stuff. So that has been going nicely over the last few weeks. I haven't seen any particular updates in the last week or two. Anyone have any Zapier updates in particular to call out?
No.
Cool. Thank you, Maria. Next is the sensitive communications process. I think there was actually some movement on that relatively recently. Chris had created a draft kind of outline doc of what we wanted to talk about in that. There was some conversation going on where we shared it with someone. We're going to try to make progress.
Can you share this with me?
Sure. Would love to. Could you ping me maybe in our DM with Chris?
Yeah.
And everything is gone after this meeting. I just need to find that link so I could send it over to you. That would be wonderful. Thank you for offering. And the next item in the board is also guidelines for sensitive and user impacting comms. And then we've got a SIG API machinery spotlight. Looks like this is the issue for all of that. So, oh yeah, because I just added that. So I'm moving that up in the board so that it's next to its issue. And that's it for our in progress column.
Potentially we have two items. One is making posts for the Kubernetes parties going on.
That is a good point.
I don't know if we have it for the blog post. We have an issue.
I think there's anything. I'm going to add it as just like a, whatever you call these, post-it note on the board. Yeah. I'm going to add that to in progress. What was the other thing?
The posts for social media for the parties, for the Kubernetes parties, because the first one starts in 1st of June.
Yep. I'm answering a thing in chat. Let me write what you said real quick, and then I'll get to the thing in chat. Is Kubernetes social media. Another thing I hoped to do today was create a whole bunch of social media on that. I'll still do that anyway, and we will catch up the other account when we can. All right, I've added that to in progress on the board. And then from chat, Sundapun mentioned an interest in doing a spotlight blog on SIG apps. I don't know if there ever was another one. He said that he doesn't think that there was one already. You're probably right. We do have that list in our GitHub repo if you wanted to check, but sounds great to me. Federico, I assume that you don't know of any SIG apps spotlights that we've done in the past. Cool. So I'm going to add SIG apps spotlight to the board.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. It's
Oh, I
absolutely
see.
fine, obviously. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm adding that to the board as just like one of the post-it note kind of things. And I will assign send upon. There you are. Okay. Edit. And this is 24th of May. 2024. Send upon interest in a SIG apps spotlight. Wonderful. So coordinate with Federico on anything that you might need. I think you've done one before, send upon, right? So you know the process. Feel free to dive in and keep us informed if you need anything. All right, so I added that to do. I'm going to put it at the top of to do. There's also a spotlight on SIG release that Nitish was going to work on. He did one half of it. He was going to do one other one. But that's just, he's been busy with other things. And so that hasn't really happened, and that's fine. We did get one SIG release spotlight, so I think that's pretty awesome. Assume there are no other notes about SIG release spotlight. And the next item on to do, Arpit asked, can we do a SIG docs one now? Have we done a SIG docs one before?
Actually, we have discussed that as SIG leads are changing for SIG docs, we are going to do it in June time period.
Okay.
So
Wonderful. That sounds great to me. So that's not on the board right now, so I'll add that as an item as well. Is that you, Arpit, that's leading that?
yes. Also, if the steering block is not on the board, you can put that also.
Right, it is not. So I will add that. And that's also you, right, Arpit?
Yes. Me and Mohit. But let me ask him one more time. Like, he is interested in collaborating with me. He DM'd me, so
Okay, cool. Love it. All right, I've added those two to the board. Let me assign those to you at least, and we can adjust as we go. Arpit is the owner to the SIG Docs Spotlight, and I'm going to put a note on the SIG Docs Spotlight that this will start in June. Start work in June as new SIG Docs leads transition in. All right. Noted. Wonderful. Any other things that are in a to-do state that we might be missing from the board? Oh, and we are at time. I'm gonna put this. There's also a spotlight on SIGCate's infra that was on here. It was supposed to be picked back up after KubeCon NA, but it doesn't have anyone assigned to it. So anybody particularly wanted that one? We've got a lot of these SIG spotlights in progress, and thank you all so much for all of the work that you're doing to support that. We are a minute after, so any last minute items before we say goodbye to our friends on YouTube? All right then. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for supporting each other. And I will go ahead and stop the recording. Bye, YouTube.
Bye bye. Just